What is up, guys? Phil Mercy here, bringing you a slightly delayed video, which I promised yesterday if I had reached 20 likes, which I did incredibly fast, and I thank you for that. Now this video I'm actually going for 30 likes, which you'll find out at the end of the video why. But basically I went to Dagannoth's with my max gear. Thank you for those of you who reminded me that I forgot my anti-poisons. That saved me a lot of effort because I hadn't been to Dagannoth Kings for actually quite a while, and then you reminded me that I forgot my anti-poisons, and thank God I brought them with me because I needed them. All in all, the trip was, well, I didn't die, so a success I guess, but yeah, the kills were incredibly fast. Now, it took me a while to perfect my method because it's the first time I've actually used a cannon at Dagannoth Kings and using the max level gear and not luring at all, literally going straight out for the kills. With this method though, you have a risk of being absolutely hit by the prime when it spawns. Like there, I got hit for an 82, but you can get hit by the prime. But because I'm in the Divine and I've got such a high life point boost with Torva, I'm not really phased. Now, in total I did get 5 drops, which is a drop rate of about 60, because in total I got 313 kills in 3 hours, which is an average of about 105 kills per hour, which is incredibly fast considering I'm not on task. I think most people my level with reasonable gear average about 60 kills an hour, Tribrid. Maybe 70 kills an hour Tribrid if not on task, and I've actually managed 105. So I think this method is probably one of the fastest methods of killing them in the game at the moment. You could of course improve this by using the Storm of Armadil instead of the Polypore. However, just changing from the spell books constantly, it's not something that I really want to be doing. I think the Polypore works just fine. As you can see here, well, prior to this clip I actually got a warrior ring. I unfortunately didn't get that lucky with drops. I managed to get 5 drops in total. I got 4 dragon axes and I got 1 warrior ring. Now, considering that a berserker ring is 2.5 mil, an archer ring is 1.4 mil, I missed out on some quite decent drops. I averaged about 1 in 60 as a drop rate, which at the Dagannoth Kings, that's not that great. I mean, usually at Dagannoth Kings, most people say the drop rate's between 1 in 30 to 1 in 40, and for me to actually get drop rates of 1 in 60, it's pretty naff, to be fair. So this is what I'm proposing. I used an Onyx Ring eye in my Dagannoth trip, and I want to see what it's like with a Ring of Wealth, whether it makes that much of a difference. And you know, obviously it's not that great of a sample size, being only 3 hours soloing, but I want to see if the Ring of Wealth really does make a difference, and if it's worth using over an Onyx Ring eye here, you know, to maximise your profit per hour. Now, what I'm going to be asking for this, if you want to see this, I will ask for 30 likes. I'm sure you guys can do it. I know. It'd be great if you can actually let me know, because this has been actually quite, not tedious, but something that really took quite a lot of effort to maintain concentration for 3 hours straight, because obviously you have that chance of being killed quite easily if you get 3 of them on you. But it was well worth doing. I did make some decent money out of it. I did average actually 2 mil per hour, which is great. So I'll tell you the timings. The reason, of course, you might notice that my mouse all of a sudden stops after I get a drop is because while I'm recording I actually note down the time frame, so I don't have to look over 3 hours of footage to find the drops. Let's see if you can notice it here. Wait. There'll be a drop coming up here and you might be able to notice it, but basically it was 1 hour and 10 minutes before my first drop, which means about 110 kills for my first drop, which is absolutely horrible. It was 15 minutes later I got my D-Axe, and then it was another hour and 10 minutes before I got my other D-Axe, and then I waited 20 minutes for my third D-Axe, and then I waited 7 minutes more for my 4th. So it shows really how random drops are in RuneScape. I mean, to be waiting 1 hour and 10 minutes and then 7 minutes for a drop is quite crazy. But overall it really was enjoyable. I've not really used max kind of gear at places like DK's, but I'm really utilising the fact that I've got next sets. I'm using the Pernix and Torva, which is really nice actually. The fact that I've got them two and that I'm actually using them to the best of their ability. Well, not really the best, because I should be at next or something, but as you can see here, look, I've actually paused for a bit because I'm writing down the time frames on a notepad, but that's why the mouse isn't moving. So that's the reason for that. But overall, it was really enjoyable. Now, what I'm going to raise the question is do you want me to do a Dagannoth event? If so, leave a comment saying, you know, I do want you to do a Dagannoth event or something. Because it's quite easy to die at Dagannoths, particularly if you're lower level, partly because Prime, the Major, can actually hit ridiculous, something like 600s, which, if you're not playing Mage and Prime spawned, you have a really high chance of being KO'd. So, but those of you who do want to come along or like the idea of a Dagannoths event, just let me know. So basically, I will then now go to a live commentary clip of which I am showing you my loot, showing you my profit, showing you my losses, the supplies I use, blah blah blah. And that has come to the end of the sort of the clips of which I got the loot. So after killing 313 Dagannoths, which you can see there by the bones, which took 3 hours, which is on average, I think it's about 105 almost kills per hour. Bearing in mind that I'm not on a Slayer task, that is incredibly fast. I think this is probably one of the fastest methods of solo Tribriding in the game at the moment, and it's actually something that I've sort of experimented on my own. It was actually the first time I've ever done that method, using like pretty much the maximum gear that is possible. So I hope you enjoy that, almost bringing to light another method. And what I'm going to do now is price check the loot I got. Now you can see that I got 4 dragon axes and 1 warrior ring, but also water talismans stack up. Now most people don't really know about water talismans. If you're going to Dagannoth Kings, you don't generally pick them up. This is where you should. I got 152 overall, and I got nearly 1.3 mil out of them, so that's great. The bones as well. So prior to the, let's put everything up before we get to the main drops that we got. So before getting any main drops, if I didn't get any loot whatsoever, I've still made profit. I've still probably made about 1 mil an hour ish, without getting any major loot. Now Dagannoth Kings is one of them bosses that drops loot regularly. It should be about 1 in 30, however I averaged about 1 in 60, which is not very good at all. So bearing in mind that my luck was actually pretty poor, and I've still actually managed to make 8.5 mil, which is great. I got 4 dragon axes and 1 warrior ring. I didn't get a berserker ring, which I think is about 2.5 mil at the moment, and I didn't get an archer's ring, which is about 1.4 I think, so I did miss out on some really good drops. So bearing in mind that those of you who do get a bit luckier than I did, you can actually make some really good money at Dagannoth Kings, and they're not hard at all. I am obviously in the maximum setup that is possible. Now these are the supplies that I had left. I did bring 2,000 broad tip bolts, so in theory I used about 800 broad tip bolts. I brought 600 winter storage scrolls, so let's get out from my bank what we had. So in total I used, in terms of cannonballs, I used 5,500, so let's just take out another 1k cannonballs. Winter storage scrolls, I used 344, so let's just take out 344. And I also used obviously my supplies like prayer renewals, overloads, flasks, yak pouches, etc. But I'm really not going to include all that. I'm not going to include, the reason I'm not going to include potion flasks is because I'm actually making them my own. I've got the supplies to make them myself, so I will in effect get my money back. And I also made my overloads from 99 Herbal, so I'm not going to go into too detail about them kind of supplies. But as you can see, that this total cost of supplies I used was 2.5 mil. Now I think I will be able to save 1k cannonballs next time. It's because I sort of perfected the method halfway through, or almost a quarter of the way through my trip. I didn't use the cannon the whole way. I only used it when Prime spawned because it was weak to range. Really, cannonballs are a waste if you're trying to use them on Supreme and Rex. So I kind of perfected my method about a quarter of the way through. So I don't think I'll be using as many cannonballs next time. So if we check, in total it's 2.5 mil. ish cost wise for 3 hours, and we got I think it was 8.5 mil in total. Yeah, about 8.5 mil. So overall it's about 6 mil in 3 hours, and that's with poor luck. So I've averaged 2 mil an hour, which is great. And now what I will be doing, if you see here, I use my Onyx Ring. Now what I'm proposing is if I get 20 likes, again I'm going for 20. Actually no, let's make it 30. Let's be a bit audacious. Let's go for 30 likes. Okay, 30 likes. I will be doing the same thing, but only with a Ring of Wealth. Now I know it's not that great of a sample size, you know, probably 3 hours work, but I will try to compare the kind of loot that I got with a Ring of Wealth and without a Ring of Wealth, because I'm quite interested to know myself, how big is the Ring of Wealth's effect? Is it that substantial that I should be using over an Onyx Ring? I don't know. So 30 likes and I'll try to answer that question for you guys. So I hope you like the video. It's actually now midnight, so I put quite a bit of dedication into this video, actually getting the gear out sorted wise, and actually I'm gonna take a quick look at my risk. I'm gonna get out some of the stuff I was using. I want to know if I died, how much I would have lost. So I had that. I had my chaotic crossbow as well. Let's take that out. I also took a polypore staff. Where's that? I have no idea where my polypore staff. Let's not worry about polypore staff. It's not that important. But this is my general gear wise. Let's have a look at my risk. I don't really want to see my risk. It might put me off from going next time. I would have protected items. So let's have a look at this. Right, 362 mil. Let's get out of that. That's scary. So yeah, I would have lost nearly 400 mil if I died. So yeah, I risked it for a biscuit. And so anyway, enough of me. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's actually been really enjoyable to make. I've not been to Dagannoth for a while, and I've actually used max gear, which is something that I've never done at Dagannoth Kings before. So yeah, 30 likes and I'll be doing this again sometime probably later in the week, hopefully with a Slayer task. It'd be really nice if I get a Slayer task. I blew about 300 points trying to get the Slayer task for this. But yeah, so I'll be comparing it. If I get 30 likes for this video, I will be comparing it with a Ring of Wealth drop, using the Ring of Wealth instead of the Onyx, and see if the drops are comparable. If they are any better, if they are any worse, I doubt that, but if they are any worse, we'll find out. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoy the video. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening or day, whether you're American or if you're going to sleep. Enjoy your sleep, and I shall catch you tomorrow on Valentine's Day. So see you later and take care.